How we doing, guys? Welcome to the preview and the predicted lineup. Arsenal against West Ham. This is a very, very big game. A win will see us go back to the top of the Premier League. And if you listen to a lot of West Ham fans, you'll think that you're facing a side who are kind of down the bottom end of the table and not really having a great season. But I actually think you're playing against a decent West Ham side. A side that are sitting 7th in the Premier League. A win will take them into the top 6. They've only lost 6 games all season. That's 2 more than Spurs and Aston Villa. And everybody's saying about how great their seasons have been. And I'm kind of asking the question as to what the West Ham fans want. Why is there such unrest amongst the fans? And so many calls for David Moyes to, leave and for somebody else to be brought in. It's a strange one for me. Honestly, when you're from the outside in, it's really difficult to gauge everything because you don't really know the ins and outs. But I look at it and I just think, why are you moaning? You won a trophy last season. You're in the knockout rounds of the Europa League. You're sitting 7th in the Premier League. What's there to moan about as a West Ham fan? You're never going to be challenging for the Premier League title or anything like that. And I just don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. You've got some quality players in there with the likes of Kudus, Paqueta, Bowen, etc. I think it's great times for West Ham right now. And like I said, maybe it's different when you're on the inside and when you're looking from the outside, you don't really see so much. I know that a lot of the unrest and what fans, talk about is the football that they play. It's boring. It's like prehistoric and Moyes is a dinosaur and everything else. But I don't know what you really want. Do you want to see amazing, fast, attacking, expansive football? But then you lose more games because you're too open. It's a fine balance. And I think that David Moyes has got it right. I agree with West Ham fans, a couple of weeks ago where they went to Liverpool for the Carabao Cup quarter-final. 6,000 fans travelling up to Merseyside on a midweek just before Christmas. And it was a weakened side. It didn't look like David Moyes had took it too seriously. And they got absolutely hammered 5-1. I get that. Moan all day long. I'd be fuming as well. But in terms of the league and everything else, I don't see where there's a problem. So West Ham fans watching this video, maybe explain to me where the big problems are. There's a lot of West Ham fans that are happy with David Moyes. Don't get me wrong. But there is unrest amongst the fan base. And I've got a couple of mates that are West Ham fans. And they've said the same thing. That it's more about the football that they're playing and it just doesn't resonate with them. And I'm just like, what do you want? You're 7th. It's a good season for West Ham for me. If you're down the bottom end, I get it, moan, but you're not, and you're going to be nowhere near the bottom end. And you've got some quality players there, and that's on the back of losing Declan Rice as well. So it's an interesting one, that's for sure. But in terms of us, go about our business, need a big home performance like the one we had against Brighton. Declan Rice coming up against his former side. I know he has already in the Carabao Cup, but what I will say with that is it was very much a changed side. It very much was not what you're going to see tonight from Arsenal. And he only came on for the last 20 minutes or so and the game was done. So this will be the big one for Declan Rice. Premier League properly going at West Ham. And I don't even need to say we need a big performance from him because we get a big performance every single game. Another little bit as well is that in that Carabao Cup game, Paqueta and Kudus were taking the piss out of us a bit. With some of the showboating and just the way that they were carrying themselves. And listen, I don't mind that. At the end of the day, go about your business and do what you're doing when you're winning. But I just feel that maybe that will be used as a little bit of motivation tonight. We all know that Mikel Arteta has a habit of, bringing up some past actions of players against us and showing the players and using that as a bit of motivation. I've got no doubt that Mikel will probably use that as well. And maybe you'll see the shoe on the other foot, as they say tonight. So it's going to be an interesting game. I'm looking forward to it. And the team lineup, I think a lot of it does take care of itself. And yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. So let's go and get into the lineup that I feel that Mikel Arteta will pick. Starting off in goal, David Raya. Really starting to see some good signs from David Raya of late, last few games. Not really speaking about mistakes or edgy moments or anything. Just good performances, good saves, distribution, everything else. And it's starting to settle down a bit now. And I like that. And I'm seeing why he's, preferred over Ramsdale. Right back, Ben White. I don't think we have many options. I'm not too happy with the way that he's been playing of late. I feel that he is carrying an injury, and I do feel that there's something not quite right there. But I don't think we've got any other options. Tomiyasu's not going to be used, and we can't even use Thomas Partey there because he's not going to be brought into the side yet, even though he is back in full training. So yeah, Ben White goes in at right back. Right centre back, William Saliba. I don't really need to say any more. I've said it already and I've been saying it all season. He is the best defender in the Premier League. He walks into any team in the Premier League. End of discussion. Very simple. Left centre-back, Gabriel. And I feel sorry for him in a way because everybody's talking about Saliba so much that Gabriel's performances have kind of gone unnoticed and people ain't really talking about him. Against Liverpool, he was as good as Saliba. He was immense and got a goal. But nobody's really talking about it. Everybody's talking about Saliba. He might enjoy that. He might be like, you know what, go and talk about him. I can go about my business. But Gabriel has matured so much and has, turned into one of the best defenders in the Premier League. He's been immense. And for me, him and Saliba are the best centre-back pairing in the Premier League. Unbelievable all season. It's that simple. Left back, Zinchenko. Again, very straightforward decision. Wasn't happy with the defending for the Liverpool goal. But when you look at it in context, I feel after that, especially in the second half, he played really well. And it's very easy to get caught on that one moment that you feel he did wrong. And I was fuming about that defending and letting Salah go inside the way he did. But overall, his game was good. And, Salah didn't really get into the game that much. And yeah, it's very easy to just focus on one thing instead of the whole thing. But yeah, Zinchenko goes in at left back. Sitting in front of him, Declan Rice. Now, I was debating this position of Rice because Havertz is suspended. And do you push him a bit further forward, put in Jorginho? Not for me. I feel he's so important in front of that back four. And the way he's been playing of late, he will stay there and he will be, that anchor right in front of the back four and be able to do everything he's been doing. Big game for him coming up against his former side. I know he has already, we've touched on that, but this is the real big one, in the Premier League. And like I said, I don't need to say about his performances and that he needs to raise his game or anything. He's been like that every single game. Absolutely immense footballer. And it's a very straightforward one for me. Right hand side, Bukayo Saka, and need to see a big performance from him. Interesting one as well, and I wonder if this will actually happen tonight. But Saka has a habit of scoring goals and using the celebrations of a player of the team that we're playing against that he's just scored. He did it against Manchester United with a Rashford celebration. He did it against Spurs with a Maddison celebration. And lately, I've noticed West Ham have a celebration where Kudus scores. He goes over to where the away fans are, sits on the advertising boards and crosses his arms with his back to them. Him and Paqueta seem to be doing it, and it seems to be something that they're celebrating all the time now. And I'm just wondering if Bukayo Saka scores at the clock end, he runs over to where the West Ham fans are, sits on the advertising boards and crosses his arms. It would very much be what Bukayo Saka does if he does score. So keep an eye out for that one. And remember, if he does do that, I said it. I just got a feeling he would probably do that. What you don't want, though, is Kudus to score and go and sit on our advertising boards in front of our fans. That's what you don't want. But yeah, Bukayo Saka, he goes on that right-hand side. Next to him, Martin Odegaard need a big performance similar to the one that we had against Brighton. It's very, very straightforward. Next to him, like I said, Kai Havertz is suspended for this game. No Vieira. I don't feel we'll push Rice further forward. So I'm probably looking at it and I'm saying Trossard may well go in there. Some people will say Emil Smith-Rowe. It's never going to happen. Hasn't started a game in how long? Hasn't got a lot of minutes. He's not going to come in and start a game of this intensity. For me, I don't feel that's going to happen. So I feel that someone like Trossard, who's capable of getting on the ball and being that link, will be a player that goes in there. On the left-hand side, Martinelli need to see a bigger performance than we saw against Liverpool. There'll be question marks about that performance. He was constantly slipping over. He was unable to push the ball in front of him so much and play the game that he likes to play. Heavy pitch, overwatered. We know the tactics. But yeah, we need to see a much bigger performance from him. And then up front, as the main striker, Gabriel Jesus. Very straightforward one for me. We will talk about his goals and everything else, and there's not enough. And when he gets the odd chance in a game, he needs to take it. But what he brings to the side is so good. But yeah, I would like to see the odd, goal more and everything. Yeah, a couple of chances at Anfield in that first half, and you're thinking, get one of those. Yeah, but overall, his play and what he brings, the link and quality player. Quality player, and he starts for me all day long. So there we go. That is the preview and the predicted lineup. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about that lineup, what you feel about the game and everything else. When we go back to the top of the Premier League, and all we can keep doing is going game by game, worrying about ourselves, because we don't need to actually worry about anybody else. We don't need any favours. Just go about our business, win our games, and we stay at the summit. It's very simple. So yeah, keep an eye out for the match reaction. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.